In this video, I'm going to share with you my #1 hack for making more sales and making more money. I'm going to do it by sharing a little bit of a personal story with you in my journey as an entrepreneur from figuring this out for myself, okay? Because I used to be a pretty terrible salesperson and I had to figure out why, because I was committed to being an entrepreneur and I was not generating the money that I needed to, all right? This is Mike Cooch. I've been an entrepreneur my whole career. And I started my first business in Silicon Valley. I was young, I was in my early 20s. I had very, very little experience. And for those of you who don't remember this, there was a time before Facebook, before Google, before high-speed internet access was really available. And that's the time that I'm referring to here, okay? Those prehistoric times, I know. But at this point, actually, technology was starting to become really widely available to small businesses. And in particular, high-speed internet access was becoming affordable enough that small businesses could get it, okay? That opened up all kinds of new possibilities, and small businesses started investing in technology like crazy. And I started a business to help them choose which computers, choose which software, network the computers, get online, all that good stuff. It was a fascinating time to be in Silicon Valley, but I really did not know much about technology at all. It was an opportunity and I was going for it. So again, pre-Facebook, pre-Google, or Google's just getting started around this time, you couldn't just get online and run ads and generate leads. At that point it was, running ads in the newspaper, doing direct mail, getting billboards, things like that. And of course, I didn't have money for doing any of those things. So my real option at the time was cold calling. And so my business partner and I would sit at his dining room table and we would literally, he and I each had a cordless phone, right? And we would sit across from each other and we had phone books and we would just go through the phone books and we would just trade cold calls, just boom, 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 one after the other. And we would sit across from each other like that, just make a little game and motivate ourselves a little bit. It was brutal. It was painful. When I first started cold calling, I literally was sick to my stomach having to make calls, okay? Which brings us to this hack that will absolutely help you make more sales, close more deals, and make more money now and for the rest of your life. Because I have not only sold now tens of millions of dollars over the years, I have hired, managed, and fired probably 100 salespeople over the course of my career. And I have seen everybody struggle with this, as well as me struggling with it myself and learning to get over it. It is right here in between your ears. It is what they call sales call reluctance, okay? It is some sort of fear that is preventing you from doing the things that you need to do in sales. And there are all kinds of versions of it. I literally have a book this thick on it, on the psychology of sales call reluctance. You can get on Amazon right now, look on it. I'm sure you can find it. Big, thick book like this, huge book, all about the psychology of sales call reluctance, because this is a massive, costly issue for big companies who have hundreds or thousands of salespeople. They will invest a lot of training to figure out what's the psychology going on that's preventing their salespeople from performing at peak levels. So I studied those books. I studied sales training like crazy for myself and also for training my teams because this is a massive issue. I have seen the most good-looking, charismatic, intelligent people horrible at sales because of sales call reluctance, because of their own minds working against them. Okay, in my particular case, as I said, I would literally get sick to my stomach making cold calls. And it was so wild because I got to a point where I could step out of myself and kind of watch and be like, Mike, why are you getting so worked up about this? And it was, I was raised by a mama who taught me to be polite and not interrupt people and not bother people and all that good stuff. And I tease my mom still to this day that it's all her fault, that I didn't make as much money as I should here or grow my company as fast there because of sales call reluctance. Because the idea of bothering somebody, of interrupting them, of stealing their time when they weren't expecting it, or of them thinking that I don't really know what I'm doing, kind of imposter syndrome, that I shouldn't be calling them, and trying to advise them on this stuff. All of those things just absolutely tore me up inside. And so I would, be palms sweating, thinking about making these calls. And when I make the call, man, I would sound all rushed and, scared, which does not help your cold calls go well. And to me, it was like just the faster I got off the phone, the better, because it was done, right? The outcome was good if I was just done and off the phone. All terrible for calling. So what I realized about myself is that I had a problem. I was a pleaser, right? I was a pleaser. I did not want to upset people, didn't want to rock the apple cart, didn't want to disappoint people. And I had to learn to deal with that. And to some extent, still have to deal with that, because I realized it was costing me so many opportunities, not just in selling, but in my life, right? The psychology of an entrepreneur is the psychology of your life, right? These things are impacting areas of your life beyond just your business. I work with thousands of entrepreneurs now, and so many of them are struggling with this, to the point where, you may not even be really doing any prospecting on a consistent basis for whatever reason that you're telling yourself. You may be afraid to make those calls and interrupt people. You may be convincing yourself every day that, oh, it's too hard, and it's not even worth it. You may be afraid to publish YouTube videos like this, or podcasts, or blogs, because you're worried that the content isn't going to be good enough, or you're going to look funny on camera or sound funny on camera, right? People struggle with this stuff in all kinds of different forms, but it is impacting entrepreneurs and preventing them from filling their pipelines with opportunities and selling more and closing more deals because of various forms of sales call reluctance. So here's the hack. Here's how you get over this, okay? And I'm going to tell you this story. This is pretty funny still to this day. I laugh at it, but I realized I had to practice getting into uncomfortable situations and getting through it, realizing that the world did not come to an end. I had to get comfortable with discomfort. And so I started finding opportunities to practice outside of my sales calls, just in normal everyday life, to do things I wouldn't normally do to cause some discomfort, okay? So this particular example, I was so broke, I used to eat at Taco Bell all the time because that was the cheapest thing in the world. And I was, again, this is Silicon Valley. Everybody's way too busy. Everybody's rushing around everywhere. And so Taco Bell, lunchtime, there's a big line of people behind me in line, all anxious to get their food and get going, right? And I get up there, make my order, and the kid shortchanges me, kid behind the register shortchanges me by just like a dime, okay? Now, I realized pretty quickly this kid was doing this on purpose. He was no dummy. He was a pretty street smart kid. And he was taking, 10 cents off of people's orders, probably doubling his hourly rate doing that on every order, right? So obviously it wouldn't last for long before he'd get busted and get fired, but he probably did not care. Normally, in that situation with a big long line of people behind me ready to go, right? It's 10 cents. I would just be like, who cares, right? But I noticed it, and I felt myself go, who cares, Mike? Don't bother these people behind you. And I went, whoa, wait a minute. This is exactly what I do. And so I stopped and I said, now you shortchanged me by 10 cents. I want my 10 cents. And this kid, again, was a pretty street smart kid. And so he started pushing back on me, trying to make a little bit of a big deal about it, thinking that I would cave. And I could hear people behind me grumbling. And I was literally like red-faced and sweaty, not because I was mad, because I was like, it made me so crazy to be irritating these people, to be bothering these people, that it made me incredibly uncomfortable. And I had to sit in it. I had to do it. I had to flex that muscle, as crazy as it may seem, to be kind of a pain in the ass and to sit in that discomfort. Kid ended up, the manager came over and stuff like that. And I was like, look, I just want my 10 cents. I know it's not a lot of money, but I want it, And so I got my 10 cents and, eventually, after continuing to practice things like that, it started to actually be kind of fun. it became kind of a fun game to me when I realized that I could be okay in these situations that I used to find uncomfortable, and that there was all kinds of benefits to this, right? Because again, it's not just selling, it's asking for what you want, right? If you've ever been a person who's afraid to, go up to somebody else, in a public setting and introduce yourself, similar thing, right? If you're making a sales call and you're not comfortable asking for the order or getting them to commit to a specific time that they'll give you a yes or no decision, or calling them out when they're saying, yeah, I think I'm interested, but they won't give you any specific details, right? These are all forms of sales call reluctance that cost you money. Find opportunities to practice getting your mindset right in this particular area. What is your area of sales call reluctance? I almost guarantee you that you have one. And how can you practice getting uncomfortable so that on that next sales call, you're going to have the skills to deal with it? Believe it or not, cold calling became one of my favorite things. I built my business to many millions of dollars in recurring revenue, taught my salespeople how to do outbound cold calls. We had an absolute cold calling machine at my business because we became so effective at it. I loved to cold call because I knew I could pick up the phone and make money. It was such an empowering feeling to realize that I will never go hungry again because I know that I can do this. You can do it too, but you've got to flex those muscles in here. Use this hack to learn how to be comfortable with discomfort, and I promise you, you will close more deals and you will make more money. All right, this is Mike Cooch. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please like and share this with anybody that you think would also get some benefit from it. Down in the comments below, ask any comments or ask any questions or make any comments, and I'll respond to them personally, okay? Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.